Oh, hey, you did make it. I'm glad you're here. I have a great surprise for you today. Behind me, Wormsloe State Historic Site in Savannah, Georgia. So today we're going to explore this site. So get ready to step back in time, discover the rich history and natural beauty of this incredible destination. As you can see behind me, 1.5 miles of the most amazing oak trees covered in Spanish moss that you will ever find. Iconic photos of Savannah are taken from this location. You used to enter from the gate right here, and as you would come in, you would transcend 1.5 miles down this beautiful gravel road covered in these ancient oak trees covered in Spanish moss. And this would take you down to the Wormsloe Historic Site, which we're going to go down and we're going to check out, do a walkthrough, take a look at all of that. We'll just look at the stunning beauty of these trees. How magnificent. It said there's over 400 trees that transcend down this road. This enchanting oak avenue was planted in the early 1890s. Like I said, it stretches 1.5 miles, creates this stunning canopy. This is the new entrance here as of early 2024. You'll enter just down the road from the original gate and you'll come into this parking lot and park. Make your way into the visitor center. The site is open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 4:45 and it's a $12 admission. Once you've received your wristband and you can access the site, you'll go around to the back side of the building where you can access the trolley that will drive you down the 1.5 mile road to the museum as part of the historic site. Save you a little bit of walk time.
Good morning, folks. As we get rolling here, I just want to go over a few things with you guys. I do ask that you please remain seated and site shuttle at all times. We do have an drop something on our way down, just 5 feet down, you'll stop. Do whatever you have to do to get my attention, and I will stop and get trying for you. If for some reason you make it all the way down to the museum and you realize you have dropped your item, just come and visit me in cab, and I will send somebody out in a separate and faster vehicle to get your item for you, and we'll be back to you as soon as possible. Other than that, if you guys enjoy your ride down, Good morning, folks. My name is Ross. I'm a naturalist here at Wormsloe State Historic Site, and I will be your shuttle driver for today. Coming up here on our right, you can see the original arch that was constructed in 1913. Good morning, folks. As you can probably tell, we are now driving down Oak Avenue. Oak Avenue contains over 404 live oak trees. restoration project we have going on. This is our longleaf pine habitat restoration. Approximately 20 years ago, the longleaf pine was on the verge of extinction due to the diseases that were being spread throughout the longleaf pine trees. The Georgia Department of Natural Resources decided that they would plant a large field to not only help maintain the population, but also bring the population back up. The field that I pointed out to you, that was on your right, was at one point filled with big longleaf pine trees, but unfortunately they did not make it due to the lack of soil condition and as well as diseases being spread. Coming up here on our left, once again, you can see the original plantation home that Noah Jones lived in. Currently living there now is the 8th generation family of Noah Jones, and that is the Barrow family. We're hoping this property will be open to the public in the near future. Coming up here on your left, now you can see a big tower sticking up out of the ground. This big tower is called a dairy silo and was used here on the plantation when it was a dairy farm. Things would be stored in there such as milk and cheese. Good morning, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed the ride down of Avenue this morning. As we ride over museum rental, just want to give you guys a few reminders. I do ask that you please remain seated until your shuttle has come to a full and complete stop. If you need any assistance with anything, please feel free to come visit me in the cab. There's also somebody inside the museum who can help you as well. The shuttle will be running every 15 to 20 minutes, 30 minutes at max. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the park this morning. We look forward to seeing you here. Thank you.
What a fun little tram ride that was. A little bit bumpy. Hopefully the video isn't super bumpy. I'm sure it is. I don't have a GoPro and a gimbal. But so how the Wormsloe State Historic Site works, you used to enter at this gate here. And this is the Live Oak Avenue right here. And they just recently opened up this facility here, which is the visitor center. And so now, instead of coming through here, due to the amount of traffic coming through here doing damage to the trees, they're working to maintain the 400 live oaks that are on here. So they've planted some new ones. I think they said they have a 404 in there. You'll come in at this entrance here. It's $12 per person, adult, and then you can take the tram. It leaves every 15 to 20 minutes or so, and it will bring you down Live Oak Road here, all the way down, and drop you off right about here. That's where we got dropped off. Otherwise, you can walk it, and didn't seem like I was too interested in walking that one today after being sick for the last week. But my location right now is I'm at some picnic tables right about here, just outside of the museum area. So I'm kind of gonna walk around through here, check some of this out, this trails, and come down through here and look at all of this in this area, the Colonial Life area, living campus, hit the observation deck, and then come over to the Tabby Ruins, to the family cemetery, and then I'll come back up to the museum here, and this is where the shuttle will pick us back up. So if you come to Savannah and you want to take a trip here to the Wormsloe State Historic Site, you know that you need to come here and get your wristband, pay your entrance fee, and then you can take the tram and it'll bring you through all the it was about a 10-minute drive to get down here. So on the tram, we did stop at the gate so they could take photos on the back side of the gate. I took some photos from the front, a little bit of video too. Now that you can't enter that, it's basically just a pin pad there. Employees come in there and that's about it. All right, let's continue. See how lost we can get. So we showed up. I arrived this morning, and there was about 2 other people here. Gathered my stuff, and about time the tram took off, I'd say we had 10 people or so, maybe 12, 10 to 12 people. And once the tram stopped, everybody just kind of spread their own way. So as you can see, I don't have anybody around me. Very quiet. This is a Sunday, Father's Day. So we'll see, they got good signs here. Colonial Life area, which is what we were looking at here on the map. Follow that right down there, that pathway. The other one, so these other ones over here, I guess I must bring buses in here. We got bus turnaround, bus parking. The trails are up there. Maybe we'll check those out in a little bit. We'll walk down here. Colonial lizards. Thought it was a snake. Scared the crap out of me. We'll walk down this path and check out the Colonial Life. It says Colonial Life area and living history camps, simulating the small wattle and daub huts used as quarters for Jones Marines, indentured servants, and probably enslaved people. The Colonial Life area is located a short distance from Wormsloe's Tabby ruins, and the living history campus include a early Georgia camp and heritage garden. It's extremely tranquil out here, peaceful and quiet. Just the sounds of nature and me rambling. Definitely think about your attire when coming here. Pay attention to the weather. Most of this seems to be shaded. However, it is still quite humid and warm in the end of June when I'm here. The paths are a sandy dirt mixture. So if you've come after rain, kind of take note of that. Maybe you want to wear some footwear that you don't mind getting dirty or muddy. Otherwise, good tennis shoes, maybe hiking shoes, something comfortable. There's quite a bit of walking you can do here, especially if you don't take the tram and you walk down. So this looks like a garden area. Looks like they actually have an active garden too. So that's pretty cool. this is. Leave a comment down in the comment section here. What kind of plant is this? I don't think I've ever seen that before. And that could be it, is maybe the focal point is to have things planted here that they would have been growing in the 1700s. Neat little separator there with the bamboo. And they've got bamboo here for the vining items. Maybe there's cucumbers or something there. Yeah, so they have everything separated, like colonial, Native American. I did read that you could take a tour guide. So maybe for a different cost, I'll have to look into that. An additional cost, you can get a tour guide. Like, I don't really even know what these It's interesting to see the things growing here, because it's not like anything you ever see in a normal garden. So I definitely want to look into it more and see the different beds being called out different things, with the Native American, the African, the colonial, what's planted here, what each item is, what its purpose would have served in that time frame, and what they plant it for today. See, I had a little fire here. Appears that's all we've got for the garden area, so we'll continue on. There should be another area that goes along with the colonial life area and living history camps down here. I think these may be the huts, as they talked about the dog huts used as quarters for Jones meetings. So we'll keep on walking and see what we come across. I did notice too at the front visitor center, they had a sign for bike rentals. So you might be able to rent bikes as well and just ride a bike around this area. It might not be a bad deal. It's quite a long pathway. It took us about 10 minutes to get down here by tram. I can only imagine walking it. That it's pretty long. It doesn't say how long that road is. Oh, there it is. Yeah, the 1.5 mile Live Oak Avenue. So from the store or the visitor center where we picked up the shuttle down Live Oak Avenue to where we got dropped off at the museum is 1.5 miles. So think I'd definitely rather save my walking for around the actual historic site than down the tree line. Maybe in cooler weather, fall, that may be a great walk. This must be our dog huts here. It appears the way that they have things set up, like maybe they want to present create the presentation that these items are in the midst of being made. Like maybe this is what one shelter looks like, and the one over there is in the process. And here's some more items on the ground for them to continue building. Like it's a active site. I mean, really, if you were stuck in the wild somewhere, abandoned, stranded, this is what you'd have to do. You have to get yourself some sturdy logs for your uprights. You have to build a center beam, some other beams coming off to the side. You have to layer it with some sort of large leaves or items to help deflect the rain. You see how they got them layered in there and tied together, and use portions of the actual leaves to tie it together. Looks like some animals have been in here digging. Gopher turtle. Oh, that's what that is right there. That's a gopher turtle hole. So they said they have quite a bit of gopher turtles out here. I came across those gopher turtles in New Smyrna Beach. Those were really cool. So they say they can tunnel down 5 to 20 feet, and they live underground. I never knew how fast they were. That video I took of the one, some people came up behind me and kind of spooked them, and they took off running. It took off running. I never seen it move so fast. Got a bunch of shells and such here. Okay, so those were numbered. The garden was 2, the dog house is 3. I don't know, maybe I missed something back there that was number 1. So when we circle back around, I'll have to take a look, but we'll keep walking down the path for now. See what we come across. And it's very important to stay on the paths. We don't want to do any damage to any of the natural surroundings. There is a lot of wildlife out there, so don't get yourself caught up in getting off of the trail and potentially getting bitten by a snake or damaging any of the wildlife homes or the nature in the area. So what we want to do is minimal impact as possible when we're in these types of places, just to make sure that you always, I have a thing that I always want to take out more than I bring in. So if I'm bringing in water bottles and garbage with me, I always make sure to take that out. But also when visiting any type of nature sites, historic sites, if somebody else has left garbage behind, grab it, throw it away if there's a trash can, bring it out. We want to try to always leave the places better than we find them. That way we have try to keep it for future generations. Looks like we're coming up on the houses here. This might be the, oh yeah, so this is part of it still, the colonial life area. So this is going to be where they lived. Labor ruled the day. Daily life in colonial America varied considerably according to one's gender, race, and social status. If you were not of the wealthy class, life consisted of demanding physical labor. Some goods and services would be purchased or traded, but most households relied on their own labor to survive. It took a lot of work to put food on the table, meat was hunted, and the crops grown. Crops then harvested and stored, and meat cured for keeping. Finally, these food items were prepared into meals by a variety of cooking methods such as grinding, boiling, baking. Cultural influences. Colonial Georgia was settled by Britain's worthy poor. As part of James Oglethorpe's vision to relocate British debtors out of an overcrowded prison system, he negotiated for the land from the Yamacraw tribe in an area hotly sought after by both the British and the Spanish. Three distinct cultural groups, European colonists, enslaved Africans, and Native Americans, were instrumental in shaping Georgia's development and history. Well into the 21st century, contributions of the marginalized and enslaved are still being discovered, contended, and celebrated. Looks like we have a little bit of blacksmith shop here. You came up and got your metalwares fixed. I did see in the shop they've got nails and other such things. Maybe at one point they did demonstrations. They have some items that have been created by blacksmith available in the shop. Some old iron nails and different little design items. It seems that they do have something active out here. Maybe you have to look into that a little bit more. There's a lot of used firewood. Maybe they burn it just for the presentation. There's wood benches all around, a bunch of different fire pits. Would lead me to believe that maybe they have some sort of a gathering out here to do things. You get your old oven here. And then the house they would have lived in. Dirt floor. A wattle and daub house. The construction technique was used by Georgia colonists to build many of their homes. Wattle is a wall of interwoven sticks. Daub comes in many forms and is dependent on the natural resource found in the local environment. In Georgia, traditional daub was made out of burnt and crushed oyster shells, sand, and water. Archaeological evidence shows 6 of these types of houses at Wormsloe before the fortified home was finished. Interesting. So they used oyster shells, sand, and water to kind of make their own little concrete. Little pen over here would have kept their animals and stuff in there. There's some little chickens in there. Battery Trail, 2.3 mile loop, follow orange markers. Shall we see what's on it? Here's a map. Let's look at our map. Battery Trail, secondary trails, 2.5 mile Battery Trail, loops past Battery, Wimberley, large Confederate earthwork on the southern tip of Isle of Hope, 4 short secondary trails, and a return to the Battery Trail. Detailed maps of these hiking trails are available at the Museum Visitor Center. So they have them right here. So we can open this up and it shows area, and then where the trails go. Pretty shaded, lots of nature. I don't know that I really want to take on that much walking after being in bed for a week sick. So maybe something to look into if you've got the energy to do it. Maybe next time I make it down here, I'll have to take a look at that. Carrying on, we're going to work our way over to the observation deck. Now it says on here, on the map that they give you, the strategic water channel known as Jones Narrows was once a key waterway for ships passing the area in the 1700s. These waterways were patrolled by the Marines that were garrisoned at Wormsloe with Noble Jones in the 1700s and 1730s and 1740s. The construction of the Diamond Causeway in 1972 decreased the water flow and the narrows became clogged with silt. So the Pine Trail was how we came down. We want to take the Tabby Ruins way back. This is going to take us over to the observation deck, the Tabby Ruins, and the family grave site. Oh, yeah, you can see there's not much water here anymore. Pretty much all dried up. This whole area really needs rain, actually. salt marshes. These coastal wetlands are found along low-energy shorelines. Green or gold at different times of the year. They are blanketed with grasses, such as black rush or cordgrass. Tides affect water levels and also help flush out the system. Many species of fish and shellfish spend at least part of their life cycles in this very productive habitat. There was some popping and crackling noises, and then you could also kind of hear some bullfrogs. Not too loud, it's all pretty quiet, but there was some weird crackling and popping going on out there. Finishing up here on the observation deck, right here. So we're going to take this path over to the Wormsloe Tabby Ruins. Noble Jones completed his fortified tabby house in 1745. It originally included 8-foot walls with corner bastions encircling the house to allow a flanking musket fire from gun ports that covered all approaches. Construction of the house took almost 6 years and required mixing more than 8,000 bushels each of lime, sand, oyster shells, and water to make tabby. Large shells made and left behind by Native Americans were mined for oyster shells. Looks like we've got another info stop up here. Let's see what it has to say. It's got a birdie on it. It does. Oh, birdie. Painted bunting. Member of the finch family, the adult male is stunningly colored with bright blue, yellow, green, and red plumage. The female sports green to yellow feathers. The male is very territorial and aggressive towards other males, sometimes fighting to the death. Oh my. Let's see any. Maybe we'll see some as we're walking around. They sound beautiful though. Another thing to note while you're walking these trails, like I said, tennis shoes is probably best, maybe some hiking shoes, but you're going to want to watch out for this. The roots of the trees coming through in the trails. Obviously a trip hazard here, so just pay attention to your footing, watch where you're walking. It's real easy to get caught up in the scenery, looking around at everything. Just watch your footing. And here it is. Spanish moss. Squirrel. Spanish moss, a member of the pineapple family. Spanish moss is not a true moss, but an air plant, or epiphyte. It grows on trees and other substrates for support. It gets its nourishment from the air, sun, and rain. Thin, chain-like gray-green pennants are often seen hanging from live oak and cypress limbs and are used for nest building by a variety of birds. Some sort of medicinal purpose for that too. I see people harvest it. Maybe I'm thinking something else. So again, we are at the Wormsloe Tabby Ruins. Noble Jones completed his fortified tabby house in 1745. This site originally included 8-foot walls with corner bastions encircling the house to allow a flanking musket fire from gun ports that covered all approaches. Construction of the house took almost 6 years and required mixing more than 8,000 bushels of each lime sand, oyster shells, and water to make the tabby. So you can see if you look in there close, all the oyster shells that are in there. The whole foundation is oyster shells with a mixture of lime sand and water. Large shell middens left behind by Native Americans were mined for oyster shells. See the outline of the housing in there, where the interior walls would have been. Get your corner walls. Not too much left, and I can imagine that the rain erodes over time. This says, preserve the past. Completed by the 1740s and occupied until the 1820s, these tabby ruins are a living reminder of 2 centuries of Georgia history. Help our history live. Please do not go inside the fence. Absolutely not. Oh, and here's your floor plan for the house. Oh yeah, so you can see off over into there, that would have been this area here in the center. You see how these bastions were. Dating to the late 1730s, Noble Jones' 5-room, 1.5-story tabby and wood house was surrounded on 3 sides by a courtyard protected by 8-foot-high tabby walls. Tabby is a local mixture consisting of sand, oyster shells, lime, and fresh water mixed in equal parts. The walls were covered in a smooth layer of quicklime plaster. Each corner of the structure had fortified bastions with loopholes that provided lines of sight down each wall. The walls provided adequate protection against musket and other small arms. Interesting. So the main house would have been, living quarters I guess would have been in here. And this would have just been kind of a protection area, some cellar, a well. I don't know if that brick is part of the original architecture or if that's just been put there to help it from falling over, kind of create some rigidity to these walls. Over time, I can imagine weather's not doing too well. It appears that there's a layer of maybe tar on the top up there, just to help shed the water off of it so it doesn't sit up there and rot it even further. We'll continue down this path here, see what these signs over here say. We should be coming up on the Jones family grave site. And then after that, I believe it's back to the museum and a quick ride back to the visitor center. Wormsloe in 1752. Noble Jones' 5-acre plantation was situated at a strategic location commanding the Skidway Narrows. Any vessel hoping to access the town of Savannah from the southeast would have to pass by Jones' watchful Marines at the guardhouse on Pigeon Island. Straight ahead of this sign in the far distance, and his fortified Tabby House here on the Isle of Hope. His company of Marines were equipped with muskets, swivel guns, and cannons, and 2 scout boats, which they used to patrol the area. Jones cleared a straight path to the west, which provided a view of Reverend George Whitfield's Bethesda Orphan House, the first school in Georgia. Jones' other neighbors included the prominent colonist Colonel William Stephens, President Henry Parker, and John Fowlefield, not shown on the map. So that out there where those trees are must have been Pigeon Island. I think we're coming up on the family cemetery. Oh yeah. Look at that. To mark the old burial place of Wormsloe, 1737 to 1789, and to save from oblivion the graves of his kindred. I wonder if they're even here anymore. They may have moved them. Something to look into. Little history lesson, research. George Wimberley Jones de Rene hath laid this stone. It's in impeccable condition. One would only imagine that this has been restored, preserved. You see a few chips out of here and there, but for the 1700s to still be in this condition is pretty amazing. I did think there was going to be more though. It's like a restricted area over there. And the trail heads back up that way. So take a couple photos and then we'll head yonder. Oh, okay, so this brings us back to the Tabby Ruins. So basically what we did was we just made a little loop from the ruins down on the one corner around to the cemetery, the grave there, and then back up to this corner. So we'll need to head up the trail back to the museum. So this trail here, Colonial Life area, that's the trail that we came down when we came to the Tabby area here. And then we went out that far corner, down and around to the cemetery and back up. We'll take this trail here. This is the main trail back up to the museum area. So there's an exhibit that details the history of Wormsloe at the museum. So we'll stop in there and we will catch the tram back. started our little walking adventure, and we went out towards the garden and the huts first. Moved our way around. William Bertram Trail, traced 1765-1766 on his first journey to Florida in 1765. Bertram and his father, John, observed pigs, oranges, peaches, nectarines, and very delicate pomegranates at Wormsloe. I didn't see any of those. They must have eaten them. I would have too, because they're all delicious. Got some bathrooms, water fountain, dish for the doggies. Let's see what's inside. It's nice and air conditioned in here. It says archaeology at Captain Noble Jones' fortified house site uncovered ruins and artifacts representative of almost a century of early American life. Excavations located numerous remains, including the original well. After its lining failed circa 1770, the well became a convenient trash disposal. This cross-section represents the well with its deposits of trash.
Drop something on the way back up, just pipe it down, do whatever you have to do to get my attention, and I will stop and get right up for you. If for some reason you make it all the way back up to the visitor center and you realize that you have dropped an item, just come visit me in the crab and I will send somebody out much quicker to pull you or retrieve your belongings for you. And we will get back to you as soon as possible. Other than that, you guys have a great ride up.
And that's it for our trip through the Wormsloe State Historic Site. I hope you had an amazing journey with me. I learned a lot. Definitely incredible to see the historic remains of such a long time ago, and that they're taking what precautions they can to keep them intact for future generations to see. Obviously, it's very hard to go most places and see a lot of things from the 1700s, early 1800s. Most of that stuff has been destroyed, So to be able to see some of that stuff is definitely a blessing. If you get the chance, get out here, wander around and take a look for yourself. There's so much to see in Savannah. Hopefully I get a couple more projects down here and I can spend some more time down here. I definitely spent a lot of time in Orlando at Disney and didn't adventure out through Savannah as much as I should have. But I'll be back, You never know where the road leads. You never know where I'm gonna be working next. So I know we're bidding a lot of work down here, so I could be here. I could be in North Carolina, I could be in Arizona, I could be Texas, I could be in Illinois, who knows. So stay tuned, we'll see where the journey leads, and I appreciate you being here. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe down there, give a like, post some comments, let me know what your thoughts were.